Hi, this is Rotwang, and this is my video response to Haxer Kyo's video of him playing Penisade. He was unable to finish the hack, which was kind of a shame, but at the same time, I'm not entirely surprised. Renegade is a very difficult game, and although I did try to decrease the difficulty quite a bit in Penisade, I guess it's just still a little bit too much of a crappy game. Anyway, so Penisade is a hack that I started in 2004, almost 12 years ago. I had just become familiar with the ROM hacking community and the extent of the kind of crazy shit that's possible in the medium. And I decided to have my hand at it, and Renegade was one of these games that I had rented as a young child, probably around 7 or 8 years old, and this is not a game for kids, not just for the obvious reasons that it's a bunch of people punching each other in the face and throwing each other off of subway platforms, but it is just a terrible game. It's not intuitive, the controls suck, it's difficult. It is so balls difficult and not obvious how to play it. Games have gotten much easier over the years. You can pick them up, you can push the stick forward, your guy walks forward. It's usually the same button from game to game that attacks. Not the case in this one. This game has some kind of weird directional attack thing going on, where the A button and the B button send out attacks that are relative to which direction you're facing. So the button that makes you punch forward when you're facing left will make you kick backwards when you're facing right. It's really hard to wrap your mind around at first, but once you're used to it, it's okay. It's the kind of game that you have to kind of stick with for a while to get used to it and just play it not so shitty. So anyway, I made this hack originally in 2004, and it was a very basic version of this hack. It didn't look anything like it does today. The only similarity really is just that the main character was naked, the enemies of the first level were naked, there was a tub girl billboard in the background, and some other billboard that was changed, but I can't remember what it was, and also the title screen. The title screen was the main inspiration for this, so yeah, I just had discovered Renegade again after remembering through all these years. Just the one phrase that stuck with me the whole time was the phrase, when you die in the first level, it says, "Get lost, punk." For some reason, that phrase just kind of stuck with me, and I figured out years later it was Renegade, and I thought, well, why not just make this a hack? Everyone had done Super Mario Brothers hacks. It was just kind of done to death, and so I wanted to do something different. And Penisade, it was just more of an attack of opportunity, because the Renegade title screen, it doesn't take very much to change Renegade into Penisade, because, I'm just going to move my mouse, there it is. All you have to do is remove the downward stroke of the R, the E and the N don't have to change. The second E, all you got to do is remove the middle part and make it an I, and the G becomes an S fairly easily. And that was just the only reason it became Penisade. And then it just became a reason to make everyone naked, as bad hacks tend to be. So anyway, I was picking away at this hack, and my house was broken into while I was at work one day, and they stole, among other things, my computer. And that was really fucking shitty, because I had lost everything up until that point. All of my projects from school, everything was gone that day. And the only thing that survived from the original version of Penisade was a few screenshots, which I had put on some web space that I was in control of at the time. And I had saved them after the fact, and every so often I would find these screenshots of Penisade and think, well, one day I should probably finish this thing that I started. And so the year was 2012. I had made about 5 months of progress on and off with Deathfuck 89, which is my magnum opus hack of Final Fight, which, as of my recording this, is not released. I hope one day it will be released, but anyway, I had learned a lot more about ROM hacking after rediscovering the scene by finding the original batterhacks.net. Dr. Floppy had taken me under his wing and taught me a lot about assembly and that kind of thing, and I wanted something to practice on that wasn't a project that I was already working on. So I thought, this is the time. I'm going to bring back Penisade. And I've been talking about this shit for fucking 6 minutes now, so I'm just going to get into the game right now. Alright, so Beat and Bruised, Left 4 Dead in Newgate City. Escape with your anal virginity intact. This game, Renegade, didn't have a plot. It's based on a Japanese game in the Kunio-kun series, which you might know better as River City Ransom, the same series that has the volleyball and hockey boo, or whatever it's called. So Renegade is essentially the prequel to River City Ransom, but without any plot connections whatsoever. The Japanese version of Renegade has a little cutscene where it's your best friend standing there, and a car drives up, kidnaps him, drives off, and that's your motivation. You're beating up all these other gang members because you're trying to find your friend who was kidnapped, but it being a Japanese game, everyone's wearing a school uniform, and that's just not going to cut it in the United States. So they got rid of the plot entirely, made everyone a punk, get lost punk, and that's how it was localized. Fuck you, it's time for some dicks. I changed round to gangbang on that, so level 1 is now, or round 1 is now gangbang 1. I just tried to change as much as I could about the original game. So right now what you're seeing here, this is essentially what Penisade... Fuck, why is he ducking like that? What Penisade looked like. It was just, the main character was nude, the enemies were nude. In this one I gave them little sunglasses and smiley faces. They are absolutely delighted to subdue you and put their dick in your ass, and that's the whole motivation, is to get out of this city without letting that happen. There's Tub Girl Billboard in the background, which I recreated pixel for pixel from one of the original screenshots that I had saved. And the main character, I know he looks like Billy Mays. That was unintentional. I'm Canadian, and so we don't really have Billy Mays up here, or we never had Billy Mays, I should say. The first time I ever heard about him was when he died, and then I realized he was a big deal to Americans. But this is not Billy Mays, it's just a dude with a beard, because retroactively I decided the player character should be the main character of Deathfuck 89. I just wanted to establish the characters of my own ROM hack universe in the same way that Jom or Joom, as I've come to learn it's supposed to be pronounced, perhaps, Kyo and Dr. Floppy, they all have their own little universes of these characters, so I just kind of wanted to have my own continuity going on. So, pardon my mouse movement there. So this game was originally, like the original Renegade is a very difficult game. You'd think that punching people in a beat-em-up game would actually do something to them, but in Renegade it does very little. Enemies have a lot of damage, or have a lot of health points, and punching only takes away 1 point of the damage, whereas jump kicks, like that, like stationary, or if you move forward you can kind of do like a, or if you're running forward rather, you can do like a flying jump kick. Or if you just run forward and press the attack button, you do this kind of like a sucker punch thing that knocks them out right away. If you get an enemy to the ground, you can kind of get on top of them and punch them in the face for a bit. And those are the only really effective ways to kill anyone in the original Renegade. Punching does no damage, essentially, so what I did was I went and I tried to make the game easier. Like you can see, the boss's health bar at the top I changed it from Emmy. In the original game, it's E-M-Y, Emmy, I guess short for enemy. I shortened it to Fag, just to go with the overall theme of this hack. But anyway, his health and all the bosses' health bars in this game are cut in half. I really tried to make this game easier. I made it so punches do 2 points of damage instead of 1 point of damage, and I actually enlisted Dr. Floppy to help me out. I forget if it was my idea originally or if he came to me with the idea, but to make the players, it just happened right there. The player's health regenerates by 1 point every 5 seconds, and I think 1 notch of health on the bar is representative of either 2 or 3 hit points. Samson. I had to give him a name. I went with Samson. I don't know why. And there, fuck, I gotta find some clothes. Okay, that boss's name is Beef Supreme, and that's actually a reference to the movie Idiocracy. If you haven't seen Idiocracy, you should watch it. It's really funny. It's a Mike Judge film. Go in with low expectations and, I don't know, have some drinks, have some weed, whatever you need to just kind of unwind and have fun with just a stupid fun movie. It's good. When you let Beef Supreme kill you, he says, "Lap my love pump." That's a Carmageddon 2 reference. That was the phrase you had to type in to activate cheat mode. So I'm hoping there's somebody who was a PC gamer from around 1998-99 who will remember that and appreciate that. Yeah, these motorcycle guys come, you just jump kick them. Like, a lot of this game is just, as soon as you let go of the idea that conventional punches and kicks should be enough to kill someone, it's really not that hard of a game. You just keep your distance, don't go toe-to-toe. I don't know. Maybe I've just played it so friggin' much because I had to hack the thing that I find it easy. So, and again, I tried to make it easier. For this part, you really don't want to get pinned up against the wall or against the side of the cliff there. The game, you'll actually notice the game gives you disproportionately more health than usual for this part. Oh yeah, so this second boss of the game, he was just kind of a ninja dude in the original game, and he had a pretty severe sprite glitch on his head for one of his attacks. It's the spin kick attack. I'm gonna try and make him do it. Fuck no. I'm just gonna quick save in case of an emergency. Okay, do it. Come on. There it is. Okay, so yeah, his spin kick attack. The spin kick attack on the primary frame where he's got his leg extended. In the original game, the two halves of his head, or his head is comprised of 2 sprites, and they were switched around. So you had like one part of his head where the left should be, and the left part of his head where the right part should be. And even if you switched those tiles to their original intended values, his head was still disconnected from his shoulders. So that was one thing that I tried to do, was not only make this hack easier, not only make this hack more depraved, but also just try to fix some of the more glaring issues with it. And I think that's really the next evolution of bad hacks, is taking a shitty game that had potential, like this one, and just ever so slightly making it not so shitty, with varying degrees of success. I like to think that Penisade is an improvement upon the original, despite its crudeness, and I think that's where the scene is heading next. So this area, the back alley, you know, it's funny because I intentionally tried to not make the penises oversized in this hack, just because I thought it would be funnier. It'd be funnier if they just had, like, average to small dicks. It just seems like it wouldn't be so over the top, but I don't know. For these for these prostitutes, I kind of went all out and just gave them huge fucking boobs. The dildo was originally a purse that they carried around, and it just was easy enough to change into a dildo. The chains, I don't think I actually modified those. Those are the original chains that these enemies carried around. They're not anal beads, although I guess I could retroactively say they are, or maybe in a future edit of this hack, if I ever get around to it, I can make them anal beads. And I guess to answer Kyo's question as to why do prostitutes always carry around dildos, I'm sure there are plenty that don't, but in this game they do because they're lesbian prostitutes. This is New Gay City. Everyone in the city is gay, even the women, for each other, and that's why they carry dildos around. It's just the most efficient way to get fucked in the pussy. So there's two different paths you can take from here. There's Club Lesbos on the left, and this building with address 666 on the right with some sort of demonic ruins on there. I'm going to save state right here, go into this room first, because I just kind of want to nerd out about it for a minute. So this was the very first background that I ever severely modified. It was originally kind of a Japanese apartment or dojo or something. Oh, pushed me off there. Yeah, if you try to get on top of bosses before they're at too low of a health, they'll just push you right off. Since the boss is almost dead and I just want to talk about this room a bit more, I'm going to pause. So this is what I call the altar room. It was an experiment in figuring out Renegade's background tile draw routine, or just how the game creates levels. And a lot of games use meta tiles, and meta tiles are arrangements of 2x2 tiles that are just easily repeatable, that saves on space. But what this game does is something different. What this game does is it's kind of like run length encoding, where there's this tile for the blank part of the wall, this tile that connects to the column. There's I think 2 column tiles. And then what it'll do is it'll say, okay, we're going to take this tile here for the background and repeat it such and such amount of times. And it just kind of works its way down the screen in strides. But it's not always like that. Sometimes it'll draw the whole blank background, and then there will be another stretch of tiles that will just go over top of the ones that are already written. So this was my kind of a creative experiment in wrapping my head around how to change backgrounds. This hack was a real learning experience for me, and I've taken a lot away from it. And I'm actually trying to incorporate this room, or at least a room that resembles it, into every hack that I do from now on. So, upside down cross, altar covered with blood, 2 flanking goat skulls that are barfing blood all over the walls and on the floor. The boss of this particular room is called Moloch, and I want to say it's an original character, but the name itself goes all the way back to the Judeo-Christian iconography, where this is, I think it's mainly like a Jewish thing though, but Moloch is the name of a demon in Judaism, and it's the demon of sacrifice. And I can't remember if it's just normal human sacrifice or if it's like children's sacrifice in general, but anyway, it's a demon of sacrifice. And this particular demon played a bit of a role in the film Metropolis, the 1928 film from Germany, which is actually where I acquired my, or where I borrowed my my screen name, Rotwang. Rotwang was the name of the antagonist of that movie, and there's this one part of the movie where the protagonist has visions of a demon called Moloch when he goes down and sees this factory and sees all the workers in unsafe conditions just dying vainly. And anyway, that's where Moloch comes from. It's just all part of that. I always try to reference Metropolis in some way in the hacks that I do. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. This boss seems hard at first, but you just have to not go toe-to-toe with it. You just kind of have to like run back and forth, knock it to the floor, and that'll just chip away at its health really quickly. So I'm going to reload and go into Club Lesbos instead, because I want to talk about this room too. This is another place where the improvements that I made may not be so obvious at first, even if you played the original Renegade, but I had some, like, I had a few creative beefs with the way the background of this room was laid out. Originally, the bartender had, like, there's like a little partition between the two counters, and you couldn't see the bartender's feet, so I just kind of bridged the gap there. Oop, power up. Yeah, every time you see that P, pick it up, because for like 5 seconds or so you can just make the enemies fly around. It's actually pretty cool. In retrospect, I kind of wish I made it last longer. Oh, if you look at the shelf, you can see there's a dildo on the shelf that used to be like a bottle of something. Fuck, I gotta find some clothes. Yes, you do. And fuck you, it's time for some dicks. So this scene, or this background, is another one that I kind of enhanced in a way that's not immediately obvious if you didn't spend months and months hacking it like I did. So the bathhouse text on the building there, I'm just going to pause so I don't get too far ahead of myself here. The bathhouse text used to say Life Pier. And I just wasn't satisfied with that. I don't know what Life Pier means. I don't know where the developers even came up with that phrase. Life and Pier. Pier spelled P-I-E-R, like the docks, or if you are a particular moderator on romhacking.net, Pier as in peer reviewed. Now, to make bathhouse appear on that building, I had to sacrifice some tiles that were present in this background. So right about here, there was like a street sign or something like that. I don't know if it was a street sign or like a mailbox. I don't know what Japanese stuff looks like on the street. I don't know what a Japanese mailbox looks like. I'm not sure what it was. But anyway, I had to incorporate a bunch of tiles from that to make the rest of the letters that I needed to spell out bathhouse. And to fill that gap, I had to modify all the tile draw strides, which thankfully I had figured out when I did the altar room, and just kind of like stretched out this planter box. Used to only be about this long, stretched it out to here, made an alternate version of the tiles where the background's black. You would never even know that I did anything if you hadn't already played the game. I'm just going to unpause because it's been a while. Yeah, nothing on this half of the screen has changed, so I'm just going to stick around here. So one thing Kyo said was that the word bathhouse isn't dirty enough. On the contrary, the bathhouse has for a long time been a congregating point for homosexuals to meet and have discreet encounters and easily be able to wash themselves off afterwards. It's a thing that exists. Look it up if you really want to, but I won't blame you if you don't want to. But that is the reason why it is bathhouse and not STD clinic or anything else. Another thing, I'm just going to talk about this hack a little bit more. As far as making this game easier, the way the enemy's health works is that when you start off in a level, oh yeah, this takes you back to the bar from level 3, so you don't want to go there. This is where the game gets shitty. You have all these branching paths as the game just tries to fuck with you. So anyway, the first enemies that are initially on the screen have their own health values or their own hit points that are particular to that screen that they appear on. But any enemies that respawn after the fact with some exceptions, because in this part of the game you'll have to fight previous bosses over and over again, and they keep respawning with the same health. But any enemies that spawn after the fact will have the same amount of health no matter what level they're on, and I took the liberty of reducing that health drastically, just to make things not so ridiculously difficult. But again, there's only so much you can do. If it were up to me, I would make this final part linear. This whole maze thing is... I'm so glad games don't do this anymore. Or if they do, they at least, you know, sprinkle some breadcrumbs around to give you a bit of an idea of what direction you're supposed to be heading in. Dr. Floppy was kind enough to... Fuck you! Dr. Floppy was kind enough to play through this a few months before I finished it, and he actually made a map of all the screens in this final area and where they lead to. And I hate to admit, but I have that map open in a window next to the emulator here. I am so cheating. This is my own hack, and I don't remember what door you're supposed to go through. I'm not ashamed to cheat at this game, because it's so shitty, and I've already hacked it, I've already beaten it like 50 fucking times. So, whatever. This is for you, this isn't for me. So, I'm gonna show you what the ending of this game looks like. I also wish that I had done more with some of the background elements in this in the final area. Like, did something with the stereo and the TV there, but oh well. C'est la vie. So, go through the door here. Yeah, and this is where another way, right here, is another way that I tried to make this game a little easier on the player. Use this door. I'm not trying to fool you. I am legitimately trying to help you. Use this door. And there it is. There's the boss room. Up at the top of the screen, you can see it. You can see that it says "kill." I had some tiles left over, or I had some data left over from when I had edited the boss text above that door. I think I actually sacrificed a painting that was on the wall. Actually, no. I'm looking at the map right now. It looks like there was a chandelier directly above me here that I must have removed and turned into the boss text. And I must have used the rest of it to spell "kill" in the top. Because the funny thing about this game is when it loads a background map, it's not just like it's not limited to just drawing tiles into VRAM. You can actually copy tile data into VRAM this way, because this game uses character RAM instead of character ROM. It's pretty much loading whatever tiles and whatever sprites it needs at that current moment on the fly. There's no bank switching involved. There isn't even a bank to switch to. It's all character RAM. So Kyo actually pointed out, I'm just going to pause for a second here so I don't like fuck myself over. Kyo pointed out when he was fighting Moloch in one of the rooms in the final stage, that blue room with the mutilated guy slumped against the wall. There's a particular tile above his head that is looks kind of out of place. That I'm sure if I had spent more time on it, I could have eliminated that. But that particular tile, I just could not do anything about it. For that room, there is another room that Moloch appears in this final area, and I was actually able to blank that tile out. And the reason that tile's there is because it's character RAM, and it's an old tile from a previous level or a previous screen that just didn't get overwritten properly. So for some reason, the sprite for that particular boss references that tile, but doesn't. It's not really used for that boss. So it's kind of shitty to explain. But anyway, for one of the other backgrounds, I actually added an extra line to blank that tile out. Just all you have to do is set an address, say this is the byte I want to put here, this is how many times I want to put that byte here. And for this game, that goes as far as you can hide new tiles in the background map code itself that aren't visible in the tile editor. So I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, let's see the boss. I'm gonna save right here because he has a fucking gun, and that thing will kill you in like 1 or 2 hits. In 1 hit, it'll freeze you just long enough that the second hit can be scored. So you're probably gonna see it happen. I'm gonna try not. Yep, there. Kick me in the nuts. Gaten Dugas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this guy actually existed. He was patient 0 of the AIDS pandemic. I had to find an antagonist for the game. I didn't even know who the antagonist should be, so I thought it should be someone who has the most to do with being gay and being an AIDS victim. Being gades. Yeah, that's what they should call it from now on. Stumbling over my own fucking words here. Being gades. Being gay with AIDS. Being gades. So... Oh, no, don't you fucking kill me. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing against this guy. I mean, other than the fact that he knowingly gave a bunch of people AIDS. But I just had to pick an antagonist, and he was an easy answer to that question. Die! Okay, I'm just going to pause here. In the Japanese version of this game, after you kill him, this door opens and your friend comes out of the closet. I guess that would have been really appropriate symbolism if that animation had been left intact for the USA version. But your best friend comes out of the closet and sobs, and that's pretty much the ending to the game and the credits scroll. In this, in Renegade, the USA version, no such luck. The credits simply scroll. But I gave it an ending. Samson escaped from Newgate City, but not without severe mental scarring. He wanders the USA in a fugue as a violent pervert named Stinky. Stinky goes nude in public and likes to cover himself in shit and get fucked by dogs. Fuck you. To be continued in Deathfuck 89. So yeah, there you see. This is the genesis of the character Stinky in Deathfuck 89, who replaces Mike Hager in Final Fight. And in that game, he's bald, but he has a beard. So I guess in the interim between this game and Deathfuck 89, he must have shaved his head or progressively went balder. I don't know. I'm not even sure what year this game is supposed to take place in. The fact that Mr. Dugas, or Dugas, Gaten Dugas, I don't know how the fuck you pronounce his name. The fact that he's in the game and he's a person who died at some point, I think in the 80s, I guess that does kind of put a date on this game as far as when the events take place. Unless otherwise, I guess he just came back to life due to satanic magic. Maybe Moloch brought him back to life. I don't know. Yeah, so that's Penisade, pretty much in a nutshell. That's how you beat it, and that's how the ending goes. And hopefully you enjoyed this video and no longer feel compelled to have to play it yourself. I mean, feel free to if you want, but I mean, you've pretty much seen all it has to offer, so I'll leave it up to you. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Haxer Kyo for making his original review and for having such kind words to say about this hack. I realize that Renegade is objectively a pretty bad game. I tried to mitigate that as best as I could. Evidently I wasn't so successful as Kyo was not able to finish the game. It's really the maze at the end that does you in. Like, there's really no reason for that maze to be there other than to artificially prolong the game. And I guess back in the 80s, you know, you had to pay a fucking premium for these games, and you probably only had a handful at a time if you weren't, you know, well off or in close proximity to a video store. But anyway, I hope you found this entertaining, and I'll see you next time.